If you are hearing this, that means that I made a second video another week in a row, which would be crazy. So you should be proud of me if I am able to do this for chapter 1110 Planetfall. If I'm able to do that, you know, go ahead and do the usual things that people that make these type of videos beg for, you know, them little buttons that people supposed to be clicked. Anyways, getting into this chapter, I mean, to be honest, it was an epic chapter, but it's not that much to say analysis wise that people aren't going to be talking about over the course of the next month or so. I know we're about to get another chapter and then we're about to have a big month-long break. So basically these last two chapters are basically what everybody's going to be talking about for the next month. Touching on cover story, like I said, wasn't about Big Mom, wasn't about Kaido. Very obvious it was going to be something related to somebody still in Wano that's alive and well and not going to be a huge reveal or surprise. So this makes sense. Having Yamato do Yamato Odin type stuff that, you know, people care about a little bit, but people kind of got over it. Like most people are like, yeah, whatever. That's cover story material. Now, as for the first part of the chapter, like I said, I don't really like to summarize, but just getting into it, all I can say is when this chapter is adapted in the anime, this is going to be something crazy. They're going to pull out all the stops for this, because even like the chapter itself, you can get a sense of how epic it's really supposed to be. Panning all over the island, showing all these people that's looking like, what's going on? This is crazy. What on earth? Oh my goodness. Like, this is going to be an event when it happens in the anime. And even when we pan to Merijois and we have that empty room where the Gorosei left from, like, I can tell Oda's been waiting to draw this for years. Like, this is something that's been sitting in his brain for a long time, because the eeriness of that circle just sitting in the room and they've all left to go figure out what's going on Egghead, like that was a way to show and not tell, you know? So the big moment in this chapter is this double spread showing all 5 of the elder planets, showing their different form, as we got Saturn looking like a Gyuki with spider legs, and on the horns we have a sandworm. I think that's Jupiter. We got the Bakotsu, which I believe is Venus Juro, yeah, because he put in some work later on in the chapter. And we got probably my least favorite design is probably Valkyrie, Mercury, which is the Hoki, I believe it is, which is just like, you know, like, I'm sure it'll be cooler eventually, but it's kind of a little too similar to Saturn a little bit. You know, they both have horns. Oh well, he has tusks, so I guess it's different, but they, you know, design language is similar. And then the Itsumade, which I believe is Mars, and that probably might be one of my favorites. Besides, you know, a lot of people actually hate on Saturn's design. I'm a big fan of Saturn's design. Saturn is probably my top 3. I probably like Venus Juro's the best, and then I probably like Saturn, and then Mars, then the other two is whatever. I know people have their gripes with Jupiter, but I think his design is okay. But yeah, we get this big double spread, and what everyone is going to repeat, everyone's going to say the same thing. These are very clearly not devil fruits. If they were devil fruits, Oda would have put in the text box their fruit names. They just put, okay, no, this is the Gyuki, this is the Itsumade, this is the Bakotsu, this is the sandworm. Like, these aren't devil fruits. It's very obvious. They're referred to as monsters. Sabo basically calls them demons. It's very obvious these are these demonic creatures, whether they come from a different dimension or something like that, come from a different planet. I don't know if I'd go that far, but to me, they're very clearly extensions of Imu, who I'm sure is going to be the personification of a devil. It would be cool if he was like a cartoon devil, kind of, and he'd be the opposite of Luffy. But, you know, we know the opposite of Luffy is Blackbeard. But it'd be interesting, but I think this being the arc where we see a man basically split himself into 6 different consciousnesses. Is that a word? Consciousnesses? Then we get introduced to the Gorosei's true forms, and they're communicating with each other telepathically without any effort. To me, that's saying these are an extension of Imu himself. I know some people still believe Imu is a woman herself, but I believe Imu is a him. So seeing their true forms is a treat. So it's also cool that it seems like they all kind of split off and decided to do their own thing, because we have Venus Juro. He's like, let me take out these pacifistas. So we get some action with him. Everyone's saying he's the coolest one, but I think he's the only one that kind of did something in this chapter. So that's why everyone's saying that. But I do love the design when he turns to that little centaur form. That's heat. That's fire. Mars straight up just goes to get incinerated, but I'm sure he'll regenerate. He just like, you know what? I'm gonna just fly through this little barrier. And then we got Luffy fighting Saturn and Jupiter. I don't know where Warcurry went. Like, where did he go? Where did dude go? So this whole Zoro situation, this has been the most unnecessary chatter that I've seen about something in my limited time being a fan of the series. You know, Zoro, it was very clear Zoro wasn't trying. He had 2 swords, no bandana. It was clear that he wasn't going all out. And I get it. We want to make Lucci seem like he's that dude, but it don't mean like we got to diminish Zoro and act like he's weak. And I know people are saying, oh, well, Zoro made up for it. He one-shotted him. This isn't a one-shot. People don't know what a one-shot is if they think this is a one-shot. That being said, I think both sides of the argument that want to downplay Zoro and both sides that want to gas him up are dumb. Because at the end of the day, we don't even know if Lucci is defeated. We see him bloody, but I don't think that makes it very clear that a victor has been decided. Like, why else would Jinbei go to get him? I mean, I guess because Zoro always gets lost, so that would be the way to get him back with the crew. But I don't necessarily think Lucci is done for. I'm going to need more confirmation in the chapter next week before I go ahead and just say that. So the end of the chapter, we see Dory and Brocky reuniting with Luffy, where they, I guess, chop Jupiter's head off. I mean, when I first read it, I read it a low quality version, so I didn't exactly interpret certain things correctly, but now looking at a more higher quality scan, it seems like they just straight up chopped his head off. So this and the Itsumade going straight through the barrier, that kind of confirms that all the girls, they have this regenerative ability. So maybe they do share a lot of the same abilities. I don't know, maybe each one will have kind of their own thing, but they're kind of baseline abilities, you know, teleportation, communicating with each other, and regeneration. I think that'll kind of be the thing that all of them can do. But my question is, where's the Warcurry? Where's this guy at? So what's going on with him? He's the only one that didn't really get any screen time in this chapter. So next week, we'll see what's going on. It's a lot going on right now in this story. I do think the arc is coming to a close, but I think we are going to have a few more months of this, because you don't just get the Gorosei involved and show them off for a couple chapters and then end it. We're going to be involved in Egghead probably for most of this year, I believe, especially with that big long break. So things are currently not looking good for our protagonist. I know Dorian Bragi came through, but are they going to get out of here unharmed? Is the whole crew going to get out of here unharmed? Like, something has to happen here. We have to have some type of casualty, whether it's a physical casualty or even a mental casualty, in order to really show that the Gorosei mean business. So we'll see. I'm sure the next chapter spoilers will be out soon. If I somehow finish this, you know, y'all owe me something. Like I said, we get to 1K, then we'll be in business. Something's going down, but you know, still got a long journey to get there. Appreciate y'all.